as sunrise spills across the Bronx and Brooklyn and touches the streets of Queens and Staten Island, New York City stirs to life. The citizens of the most diverse city in the world begin their days, heading off to work, to school, to meet up with friends and loved ones. There is a unique, vibrant energy to the city, a feeling of shared camaraderie among the millions of people living together that is unlike anywhere else on the globe. America's largest metropolis might appear monolithic, but the hundreds of neighborhoods that make up the 5 boroughs are an astoundingly multicultural representation of nationalities from all over the earth. Our diverse communities are populated by people from over 170 different countries, and we speak more than 800 languages. For the past 40 years, New York has been the stage for an event as grand and storied as the city itself. Winding through dozens of neighborhoods in all 5 boroughs and past more than 2 million cheering fans, the ING New York City Marathon is the largest marathon in the world, an inspiring spectacle running through the cultural capital of our nation. In the same way that a city is more than just the sum of its parts, the ING New York City Marathon is about far more than just the 43,000 people who compete in it each year. The tale of this great race would not be complete without a look at the communities who play host to this spectacular event and the people who volunteer their time and energy to come together and help make it happen.
In Staten Island, it's very much a family affair. They're there in the pre-dawn darkness, and they get it going.
Looks like it's going to be a great day.
Borough to borough, you have a volunteer community that is sort of a microcosm, a reflection of that borough.
We have doctors, we have lawyers, we have physical therapists, we have teachers. The amount of volunteers, where they come from, and the fact that they're all doing it because they want to do it.
Yes!
I think the fact that this race, our race, is such an international event sets it apart.
Said the magnitude of how many people are here and from how many different countries. It's a mosaic of people, all for one common goal. And it's a very simple goal, crossing the finish line.
Good morning and welcome to New York City, where the world comes to run.
And then the runners come out. You can feel the expectation. You can feel the electricity in the air.
Doesn't get any better than this. Welcome to the Big Apple.
And when that gun goes off, it's like an explosion. That's the energy that permeates the city every single year.
But part of the magic is being part of the live spectacle. Whether running on the course, or volunteering, or spectating, all these people become part of something much bigger than themselves. And I think there's a real pride of being New Yorkers on Marathon Day.
It really makes me feel proud, not just to be a Staten Islander, but proud to be a New Yorker and have something this large and be a part of it.
Look at the energy here, the amount of people that are coming at me now. It's just fantastic, and all the people turning around and saying thank you to all my volunteers. That's the best part of it. You just can't believe that there's 40,000 people here. And we're just overwhelmed with all this here, and the amount of help we get is just fantastic from the community.
As we go through each neighborhood, it's the volunteers who are part of the community, who represent the community, who represent the best of New York City, that are providing this red carpet ride and experience to all the runners by fully supporting them.
I mean, the runners just love it when they run through a sea of volunteers, handing out water and energy drinks and cheering them on and making every single runner, 40,000+ of them, really feel like a star.
Each captain is sort of an ambassador for us as well, and they go into their own communities. They know their communities best. Some folks engage their entire building, their street, their church, their school, and each station has a flavor of its own.
My name is Carmine Santoli. I'm going to be 84 years old. I have been volunteering for the past 41 marathons.
When you run in the race and you run up 4th Avenue and you go from one neighborhood to the next, and you can tell by the people standing there where their parents were born and where their grandparents were born.
We have quite a few Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Italians.
It's a common denominator. It's the city of New York, not one borough, not the other borough, not one ethnic group or the other ethnic group. If only one group turned out, it wouldn't be much of a race. But everybody turns out for it, and everybody's into the spirit of the day.
Just seeing everybody happy and getting together. All different races, we're all happy. We're one family at this time.
The community have grown even more, knowing that there is a marathon, and they have come together a great deal.
This is my home. This is my neighborhood. I love to help my neighborhood. There's nothing like Brooklyn, New York. We are the best. We always were, and we always will be. And Mile 6 is the best water station that the marathon ever had. But Harry still doesn't have nothing to say. All he wants to do is work.
And all this year, he already say everything. 78 years old, he's still kicking.
And he's still kicking.
Yes, sirree, boy. This is the man that started a lot of it. How long are you here, George?
Oh, 28 years.
George Stematiadis. Why do you come back every year, George?
This is the most fun that anybody could ever have in the city of New York, right here, right now.
That's
this
right.
is it.
Great guys, they come out every year. They work hard. There's all volunteer work. Without them, again, I would not do this. There's about 175 volunteers in this block. Amy, how many years you doing this? It's your
First year.
First year. What made you come out today?
My friend is running it.
Okay. How many years is this?
This is about the 10th year for me.
10th
I
year.
win.
How many years?
1984.
How many?
1984.
1984, longer than me. 86, I'm 86.
He's my boss.
No, I'm no boss.
He's doing that for 20 years?
23 years.
23 years. Yeah.
Volunteering, if you're going to live in a community, why not be part of it? And the marathon is part of our community. It's a big part of our community. Families have grown up with this marathon. I could bring people back that are in their 40s.
We have people who grew up with this event, and they started when nobody knew the marathon was going to be this great spectacle and great success. They started before it was anything, and they were so critical to making it something. And now they're handing the baton to their children and to their neighbors.
My earliest memory of doing this is when I was so little, like my mom would have to fold my these raincoats. My mom would have to fold it up because my arms weren't long enough and my feet weren't long enough to poke out from under it.
We also have an extended family down there. At mile 15, we have the Girl Scouts, we have the Rochdale Runners Club. They become our extended family.
It's very culturally diverse. There's different countries, different nations all along this area. This is New York.
Nearly every borough does have different nationalities housed there. But in Queens, we are the most diversified population in the whole country. So we naturally have people from all different nationalities. We have their restaurants, their traditions, their religions, their parades, their celebrations. All of those things happen here.
The marathon means a lot to the community because it brings many nationalities, in our case, in Astoria, together to help each other. I personally, like this, because I'm not originally born here in the United States, and when I get to see this, people helping each other, brings me a good sense of pride that I'm trying to do something that will change this world.
You're almost there. Queensboro Bridge coming up. Water station, last quarter before the bridge.
Well, you know, everybody comes down and they're there for the same purpose. They're going to hand out water, but by the end of the day, we've all become family.
It's just one of those days that people feel good. They feel good to be New Yorkers. They're happy that the city is hosting this huge international event.
When they arrive here, when they run through here, I want to just be able to shout to them, welcome to the center of the universe. You have arrived in Manhattan, you've arrived in New York City.
And as the runners come over the 59th Street Bridge and continue running on First Avenue, hear the roar of the spectators grow, grow, grow until you can't hear yourself think or give a direction to anybody. It's just so exciting.
The noise is unbelievable. The buildings reverberate with people sitting on balconies, clapping, shouting, hollering.
Once you've worked at a water station or an aid station, you want to do it again and again. It is such a thrill, such excitement, and we all come together for one mission, and that mission is to support the runners whose courage has gotten them to the New York City Marathon.
And it's fun, and then you get all wet, and I like getting wet. And also, the sponges are flabby.
This is awesome. Everybody's doing their best. It's a great collective effort to support all the runners, and it's a great day.
There's no better way of showing New York than by volunteering and making someone's goal come true.
In 1975, George Spitz came around and he said, Fred, why don't you have a marathon in the 5 boroughs? I laughed. I said, forget it. You have enough problems putting the marathon in the Central Park. Why should you put it in the 5 boroughs? But he said Percy Sutton would like to.
I said, that would be an excellent idea, but I would agree to it only if we went through all of the ethnic groups in all of those boroughs. Once it was done, once we ran the marathon in 1976, everybody seemed to be enthusiastic.
Well, the goal of the first marathon, of course, was to make sure that it ran through all 5 boroughs. And it wasn't that easy laying out a course, and the part that was tricky was to get the Bronx into it. And the race ran across the Willis Avenue Bridge in Manhattan, literally into the Bronx. I don't know, 50 yards into the Bronx.
Which at that time was right off the Willis Avenue Bridge, right at the edge.
And then it turned around a telephone pole, and then turned and came right on back. So, so we could at least say, well, it was in all 5 boroughs. And later that got changed.
What's different now is that I work at Ostos Community College, which is in walking distance from the marathon site or the 20-mile mark. So I have students that are here, high school students, college students, faculty members, staff members, and community-based folks that are in the neighborhood that I can recruit for that activity.
And that volunteerism resonates throughout our borough, and people take that spirit of volunteerism with them after the marathon. They go out there and they clean up parks and they take graffiti down from our walls. To see so many folks from all walks of life come together as one big happy family, I think that's to me the most important thing about the marathon, the fact that it brings people together.
Well, the people in my neighborhood, they love the marathon because they asked me in July, when is it going to be another marathon? And it's only once a year.
As one guy said to me, hey Steve, ask the runners, were they going into Harlem? Were they greeted well? And you bet they were. They come into Harlem, there's music, there's excitement, there's people everywhere.
We're just being like we always are. We are a harmonious, festive, enjoyable, embracing group of people, and that's what we bring to the marathon.
When they come to Harlem, right behind us, this is considered the wall. And any runner that does 26 miles, they need inspiration and an upbeat to get to that next 5 more miles to go.
And they have a great time coming to Harlem. And for my job and my responsibility to see they continue coming to Harlem, through Harlem. This is one of Harlem's best events. And that's why I continue doing it.
The volunteers are the face of their neighborhoods, their boroughs, and the city on Marathon Day, and that's the best face we could possibly put forward to runners from around the world.
So how you been, man? I ain't seen you in a while.
You're on camera.
We still on camera?
Yeah. We doing a shoot,
I'm always on camera.
You bamboozled the shoot.
All the time.
Bamboozled the shoot. This is State Senator Bill Perkins. He's a marathoner. He's a Harlemite.
But the marathon, the most important part of the marathon for me is coming home to Harlem. After you come through the wall over here in the Bronx, and then you wind up in Harlem, the kind of energy, not only me especially, because of the fact that I'm from the neighborhood, I represent the neighborhood, but most runners will tell you this last stretch is the stretch that gives you the energy past the wall, that mythical wall that's supposed to crush you.
When we see their names on their little t-shirts and stuff, we cheer them on. We tell them, that's right. Man, you're gonna finish, you don't have too long to go, go, go. And give them the water, give them the Gatorade, they're happy.
Well, the marathon means a whole lot to the community because it brings the community together. I'm 86 years old, and I love volunteer, and I'm going to be volunteer for the rest of my life.
The fact that it's mile 25, it's so exciting. The runners have run through all 5 boroughs at this point. It's the final stretch. They're almost at the finish, and so it's just so exciting to see them at this point in the race and to be able to cheer them on at this point in the race.
Just the fact that we're able to be supportive of them as they're making their way to the finish line, just like Joanna said, is a really special moment.
It's always very hectic on Sunday morning because 35,000, 40,000 people in short pants are coming in your direction, and you have to be ready for them, and there's no tomorrow.
And then at the finish, they've done this. If you've ever volunteered at a finish line, the looks on their faces, and when you read their name on their bib and then say, "Great job, Jack," the smile.
I had a guy come across on crutches, raise both his hands. Of course he fell, which is not funny, but it's funny because he laughed. Then his teeth fell out. We picked him up and we moved on. It was so much fun and he enjoyed himself.
There's tears too, especially at the finish line, of happiness, of gratitude, for all that brought them there, for the families that supported them. And after being so tired, thirsty, happy, exhilarated, so many of them remembered to say, "Thank you for volunteering."
For the thousands of marathon runners, the stories that they tell afterwards is the fact that they go through all of the boroughs and see the magic of so many different neighborhoods. And I think that's what makes the marathon unique to our city, because it connects us in a way that the city is supposed to be, which is a collection of boroughs coming together in one unified voice. And the marathon brings that out to the thousands of people who run it every year.
Working at the United Nations, I see a fair share of conflicts during the year. And coming to the marathon makes me realize that thousands of foreigners are here together to follow their dream. That's for me actually the dream of a more peaceful world.
You couldn't put on the New York City Marathon without the volunteers. It's that simple.
These are people who are crazy passionate about their jobs on Marathon Day, and they are the backbone of this team.
And it really is the experience of the city. It's the experience of meeting
all the folks in the communities, all our volunteers that are out there. It's a real important part of who we are.
Why do we do the New York City Marathon? Because it is not often in your life that you can say that you helped 41,000 people have a good day.
It becomes very personal, and it becomes very sacred in a way. And this is their marathon.
Actually, the marathon has become like going to the church on Sundays.
I mean, it's just more than running. I can't find a phrase that would adequately describe what it is, but it's more than running.
The marathon has become, I think, the single best day in the life of the city.
What makes New York special, you ask?
Yeah.
Wow, it's very easy to answer that one. New York.
New York.
New York, New York. That's it.
And so it begins, the first of 3 waves. And the ING New York City Marathon today becomes the largest marathon on the planet.